I'm getting it up right now.
Testing 1 2, testing, folks. I want to welcome everybody to the show. Let the truth be told. It's early. We started a few minutes early. Partner, let me hear you say something.
What do you want me to say?
You just said something, Miss Latrice. Let me hear you say something.
Hooty hoo!
Yeah, I heard that, folks. We started a little bit early so we got a great show. And yes, we are live today. No problems. And we got a great show. You can also catch us at TECN.TV. That's TECN, the Exceptional Conservative Network. You can find us there, our station out of Washington, D.C. Y'all go ahead on and y'all chime in. I'm sharing it around to my groups right away. But we got a great show. We got a great show. We're going to finish off what we started last night with Miss Hughes when she came in here and she started to put it down on yesterday. And we had all sorts of technical difficulties. So y'all don't want to miss this show. Y'all can go directly to TECNtelevision.com, TECNtv.com. Y'all can catch us live there. And man, please, y'all need to get
it over there on YouTube because I want to look it up on YouTube too.
I'm at YouTube, David L. Lowry on YouTube. Y'all can find me there. And after a few more days, y'all gonna find me all over the place. Did you find it?
I am looking for it now. No, I don't have it. I don't have it at all. You know what, Mom? Steve, Mr. Binky, please text me where he's at on YouTube also. I would love to look at the chat on YouTube.
Did you do you know where to find it at, Bink? You can find it, can't you?
Yeah, I think I've got you saved.
I hope so. Let me mess with the Stay Rep.
No.
Stay Rep, we finna bother you.
No, I'm listening. I'm paying attention.
Enjoy. Folks, we got a great show. We want you to tune in. We're going to finish off what we started last night. Got about 4 minutes before showtime, and we're sharing it around to our groups. We got a great show tonight. And we're going to talk about from what do we need to do to restore the Black community. And we're going to get a Black woman's perspective about what we need to do as far as restoring Black America. So if you ain't got nothing to do, y'all call your friends and let them know you're listening to Let the Truth Be Told Radio. I'm your host, David L. Lowry Jr., and the show is Let the Truth Be Told. Y'all share it around. We're going to get it in. 3 minutes before showtime.
I think I just found you on YouTube.
Yeah. And to our producers at Tech TV, y'all got it right tonight, Brother Ken. Y'all can call in if you want to. Y'all call into the show and y'all can check us out. Let me put the call-in number up there.
Wow, they got them way down on the list here for me. They got you way down on the list.
Man, you know they won't have me way down on the list.
I can't believe that.
Y'all can watch us at TENCTV.com 2 minutes before showtime, and we're going to keep sharing it around to our groups. But we got a great show. We want you in. We want you to share it. We want you listening to what's going on, and we're going to get it in, folks.
So did you find it, Ms. Hughes?
Yes, I do. I have Facebook open. I have TECSTV open, and I also have YouTube open.
Let's get ready. Y'all gonna have me clowning today. It's a great show. I'm telling you. 2 minutes. Let me get start this thing out so we can we're gonna get this right on point. Yeah, folks, y'all share it around. We got a great show. We just having fun right now, and we're gonna get the juice flowing in just a minute. So I'm gonna take y'all out for a minute. Let's see how much time we got. I'm gonna take y'all out for a minute. We're gonna get ready. Folks, I want to thank you for tuning in to Let the Truth Be Told. And we got a nice little clip we're gonna play at the beginning of the show. So y'all stay tuned, stick around, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes.
We don't need to be affiliated with nobody's party.
Okay,
we don't, because Democrats haven't done a damn thing for us. And Republicans haven't done a damn thing for us.
Right.
What we need to be is our own independent Black party. That's what we need. We need our own party. No more waiting for J.B. Crystal and the rest of them clowns to do anything. Now, I'm going to say this. We going to the polls. We going to the polls. Now listen to me closely. How many people out here suffer during this pandemic? Not a pandemic, but a pandemic. How many people suffer? All of them. Everybody. So what I'm saying is this. We, the people, need to get together. We're going to start this black political party. We're going to recognize the color. It's about America right now. It's about black people. It's about 275. It's about no economic development. We built. It's about areas. We built. That's right. Taking out the dollar. That's what this is about. Take our land back. We built it. It's our land. We built it. And I'm telling the alderman right now, he's here. Brother Alderman, we have to start coming into the community, opening up businesses. We have to train our children. We built open our own businesses. We're doing our own self. That's right. That's right. That's what this is. That's right. We can't keep sitting around every time we go somewhere. There's no black dollar that stays here. But if black people own businesses, we reinvest into ourselves. We create a nation within a nation. That's right. We got to get our own schools because we can't let the J.B. Crystal keep teaching our kids homosexuality. That's right. That's right. They teach homosexuality in school. So this is where we stop. This is where black people need to get off the bus that's going ahead. Stop.
Hey, let's get ready to rumble. And welcome. You're listening to Let the Truth Be Told. And we're going to get it in, y'all. We got a great show. We finished what we started last night. We got Miss Hughes in the studio. So let's get ready to rock and roll. Tune in and share it around TENC TV. Let's get ready to rumble! Let the truth be told, we're going to move some souls. Good morning, Vietnam. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you at, and welcome to the talk show, Let the Truth Be Told. Folks, we got a great show. We're going to finish what we started last night. Last night, we had some technical difficulties, and we were unable to get the show jumped off like we wanted to. But we had a great guest, and we're going to finish what we started last night right here, Let the Truth Be Told. So if you ain't got nothing to do, call your friends and let them know you're listening to Let the Truth Be Told Radio, and I'm your host, David L. Lowry Jr., and the show. I would rather for you to hurt me with the truth than comfort me with a lie. First, I want to give all praises to God and my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, who made it possible for me to be here. And I want to welcome all my first-time listeners and listeners all across the country off TENC TV. Y'all share it around. We got to get them numbers, and we got to build a station up. But tonight, I want to finish what we started last night. There's a lot of things that are happening in the Black community, and it just seems like the Black community is asleep. All the other races are really progressing except the Black community. And we had a show last week with T.O. Hardiman. He's an activist out of Chicago. We both grew up together. And from a male's point of view, we talked about some of the things that men should do in order to help create the vigor or some pride back in the Black community. And so tonight I wanted to get from a woman's point of view, a Black woman's point of view, on what needs to be done and what we can do to restore the Black community. And in saying that, with no further ado, I'm going to bring my guest in. Hey there, Miss Hughes. How are you?
How are you doing, David? I mean, I don't know why you're going to ask me because I'm probably going to step on a lot of people's toes. But my fathers, all three of them, told me that, you know what, if you don't like what I have to say, pick your toes up, put them in your pocket because I'm bound to step on them.
I love it. And Mr. Binky, what's going on, Bink?
Hi, Dave.
Steve!
Is that all you got? Folks, thanks for tuning in. What I was talking about is this. We talked last week about what men should do to help restore the Black community. Mr. Hardeman and I, we talked about some of the things we did. And what you saw was a clip at the beginning of the show. That'll happen May 22nd of 2022. And what we did, folks, we were so tired of the violence in Inglewood here in Chicago. Brothers was killing each other, police killing. And so the street organizations, and this is why I give brothers props, the street organization, Mr. David Boxdale and his family, myself, some of the other brothers from the West Side, Minister Rico, Cool Breeze, them, a lot of the brothers from Inglewood, we all got together. And we got the brothers who was pulling the triggers and shooting, and we sat down with them and said, this needs to stop. And so when we got with them, they became little boys when they was in the room with men because they had never been around real men before. And we had that march. And on that day, over 500 people came and they marched and we stopped the violence in Inglewood. And that's something that was done simultaneously around the country, not just here in Illinois. We did it in every state, California, New York, New Jersey, Oklahoma, Iowa, every state where every GD, Vice Lord, Stone, every street organization on that day did the same thing. Either they were marching or they was in the community giving out food. We was helping people. And we call it the big we. It is us who can return prominence back to the Black community. And that's what we're going to do. But tonight, from a Black woman's perspective, Miss Hughes.
You hurt my heart. You really hurt my heart. I don't care if they don't have a father in the home. You should have a strong male role model in the streets. I don't care. That's the reason why we got gangs, is because they don't have their substance at the house. They don't have a stepfather. They don't have a real father. They don't have a male role model. How do I know? I used to be the leader of my gang when I thought I was in a gang. You know, when you were like 12, 13, 14, all the way up, you know, I was the leader and all this stuff. But I still had fathers. I had three of them. I had my stepfather was the founding member of the Black Panther parties of Brooklyn in the house of the 70s. My real father, you know, he was in Vietnam. He was artillery army. And then the man that raised me from the age of 2 years old to I was 20 years old, Johnny Jones, he was Navy. And the first thing he told us, and you know, I didn't know he wasn't my real daddy, but he told us to read. What Papa Scott, the militant man in my life, told me is that if you believe that the government is shiesty and dirty, then you times that by 10. But then he also told me no matter what you do, you stand up with pride, integrity, and you don't shame the family. So it's surprising to me that our youth don't even have a male role model because males don't know how to be males anymore. And that's damn sad.
And you know what? You are so perfectly right with that. A couple of things I want to talk about that you just said. Because of the traditions of the rites of passage, like I had, when I became 10 years old, my father said I was no longer a boy, but I was a young man. And he started to treat me like a young man. He talked to me differently. He started to tell me things, what men do, how to be responsible. It was no more the little boy. So what's missing in the Black community today for our young men is that they do not have positive role models or fathers who will take them in and teach them the responsibilities on how to be a man.
But now, the street will take them in.
Now let me tell you about the street now. And for all y'all listening to the show right now, street organizations, when I came along, is not what you see today. I'm a product of Inglewood. I grew up in the neighborhood of the Gangster Disciples.
Ooh.
They were an organization that started the school lunch program with the Black Panther Party. Mm-hmm. They provided leadership for young men like me to go to college. They taught us that we have to be good stewards in the community. I painted fences. I did everything, carried groceries. I sat and listened to Larry Hoover himself at the field house talk about to me and some of my other friends before we went off to college. We were told, go to college, learn to be somebody, always remember to come back home. So what you see in today, people, with the street organizations is not street organizations. They're just a bunch of rogue kids who are running around killing, using the name of the street organizations to do the dirt that they did. Because I'm telling you, when I came up, I was taught to be a man. And those brothers in the streets, they cuffed me. It was never about gang banging. It was never about selling drugs because I was taught not to do those things. So as time came on and the powers that be that poisoned the street organizations, they turned them against each other. They gave money out that people came, everything was done, and there were subversive tactics that these organizations.
One thing with the Black Panthers, one thing they did was highlight the CIA coming into our communities, especially in Bed-Stuy, especially in Brooklyn, especially in the Bronx, opening up their trunks and selling and slinging drugs and slinging guns and putting it in our communities. And then they backed away. It was all the grand scheme of things is because if you can destroy the male role models, if you can destroy the male, his pride, everything that makes a man, then you already crumbled that community. And since we've been killing and murdering our own men in the womb, we acted like we China in the Black community. I don't understand it. So when we have been 13% of the United States population, but have $1 trillion in economic wealth and how much we pump into the system, then how in the world are we still underdogs? And how in the world are we hating on each other because one prospered and the other one fell behind? It is not my responsibility.
It is all to the fact of psychological warfare that has been placed in the Black community. It was all designed by welfare, and it was racism, systemic racism, to move the Black man out the Black family. When you got
systemic racism when you have Black on Black. And
I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to the Black on Black.
And it's systemic racism perpetrated by the powers that be. And now we are the ones that's walking around with the target on our back when the only thing we want to see is not only our community be uplifted and prosper and successful, but all communities across the board. Because when one community is uplifted, it's usually going to uplift the next community. But we can't even do that anymore because so many of our leaders in the Black community has already taken that knee to the powers that be. So they don't even know how much gentrification they have created within their own communities.
Well, that's the whole thing. That's the problem that I see today. It's the poor leadership. See, when I was coming up, we had parents. My grandmother was the second lady ever elected to the City Council of Chicago, in Inglewood, the 16th Ward. And they all who know me, y'all know my grandmother, Eloise Barton. The politicians in those days were not perfect, but they made sure that there was honor amongst thieves and the Black community thrived. See, you was born in 1974. I graduated from high school in 1974. So I know what the Black community was like. It was self-contained. It was Black business owners in the Black community. They reinvested into our own stuff. Black people spend more money than all the other races together, and we don't own anything. And see, that's the problem. The psychological warfare that has been put into the Black community, and it has been done, not whites have contributed, but it's the Black leadership, it's the Black state reps, it's the aldermen, it's the state senators right now in Chicago that is predominantly Black. Then the Black community should not be suffering like this.
Well, you got Beetlejuice as your leader up there in Chicago, and that chick is so confused. She don't even know who she hates.
Well, I don't call her Beetlejuice. I call her Leviticus 20:13. That is the proper name for a sodomite, and that's what she is. Her mission was never to embrace Chicago, but her mission was only to turn Chicago into a homosexual haven. It never was about rebuilding Chicago, because everything that she did it for the North Side. She changed the name.
You're talking about also our former president, also Barack Hussein Obama, who could have been the one to uplift. He wanted to tear us down. You might as well go ahead and throw him in there.
Let me say this: Barack Obama did what he was supposed to do. See, what the American people is failing to understand, we have been under attack by the New World Order. And we was talking about this last night. Barack Obama's only mission was to get black people to go to sleep, to give us good speeches, to talk to us like he cared, to get us to come out and vote for droves for him. And we did. The first term, he did nothing for us. And people complained to me, well, we got to give him time, and those who messed it up before he got in. Every president inherit bad things. Barack Obama did nothing. And his second term was the term that put the nail in the coffin for the American people and the Bible and Christ.
Yep.
See, Barack Obama don't know nothing about God because he's not a God-fearing man. He's a homosexual, and that's the problem. He's a sodomite, and they played this game against the black community. The black community fell for it, and the next mission was Hillary Clinton to get into office. Hillary Clinton was supposed to take us through the pandemic, but Donald Trump won and threw a wrench into the plans.
You better say it.
And thus they had to get Donald out in order to push the New World Order. And
not only get Donald J. Trump out, because you got to remember, if you look at his track record, when he went up against Florida and his father and got segregation thrown out of there so all of these black people can get on the golf courses and get equal opportunities. Then if you look at how much money he's given to the black community or even black people, Jennifer Hudson, anything else, giving these people, there's so many things. And then you look at all the people that he was standing in the picture with. Rosa Parks, you know, you got the wild hair, the boxer guy. Do you have all these black people that used to, Don King, all these people that gave him the NAACP award, and then all of a sudden he runs for president. He's the worst thing since sliced bread. And I'm saying, like, how was that when he has helped more people in the black community come up and pay it forward than he did in his own community? Donald Trump was the one that they was rapping about. They wanted to be around. They wanted him to donate to him. They wanted him to go ahead. And then all of a sudden they took that knife because Hillary Clinton and the Democratic Party told them to, and they stabbed him in the back. And that guy did more for the black community. And let's stop saying black. He made it an even field across the board in 4 years. I can go with the $500 million he gave to the historical black colleges. Why? Because I was a part of that team. I was up there when he was talking about, you know, the PPP. I was on those conference calls. So when I'm on those conference calls with the small administration of the African American community, and I'm on these conference calls, what you mean the president of the 100 Black Men of America is on this conference call? What do you mean that the biggest pastors is on this conference call with me? I'm sitting here listening to these people as they're saying what needs to be done in our community. But if you turn on mainstream media, he's the worst thing since sliced bread. But now the Democrats and the black community is struggling again because they got to go grovel back at the armpits of Joe Biden to get more money for our colleges. I'm sitting here like, how in the world did y'all go from 4 years of reprievement back to poverty like we just got off the dang old plantation?
Well, and I want to attribute something to that. And I call a spade a spade. When Barack Obama was in office, unemployment was at an all-time high. There was more black men be killed by the police under his leadership. We had all sorts of viruses that came and went under his leadership. He was not the best president that this country has ever had. It was the facade that they presented, and black people bought it only because he was a black man. Now,
but if we went out there and told the truth, we're Uncle Tom, we're a race traitor, we betraying our race, we're everything evil under the sun that they can label us, but we just want to see what's good for our own community, our own children and their futures. But we are the ones that is the bad people in this whole playing field. That's why I can't stand Democrats, and I go hard on the Republicans. You ain't did nothing for my community. The Democrats are the party of slavery. They are the party of poverty, and they still the people in the party of poverty. Even the Democratic Party don't recognize what a real man is. So how in the world are the black men, the white men, the Hispanic men still being part of a Democrat when they don't even recognize your gender for what it truly is? And now that they're wiping away what a woman truly is, how can any black mother, any black grandmother sit there and tell me you a stupid Democrat, you would go to church when they don't even like Jesus Christ? They won't recognize him. They took him out of their platform, but you finna cuss at me like I'm your problem. No, you following a whole party that's getting ready to be split from the left and the right. And since you don't believe in Jesus Christ, you don't believe in God Almighty, and it's definitely not in your platform, you're going to be spit on to the left while I be spit to the right. So all of these black people that likes to come to my page and call me every name out of the book, the only person that's going to be gnashing and clawing at your own teeth, your clothes and your skin on Judgment Day is you, because you did not wake up to what God has revealed to you. And he's been revealing this to you ever since we walked away from the plantation during the Civil War.
And see, you're so right, because this is the situation right here that we fell into. We have to look at this. And to the American people and patriots across this country, I want to tap into your common sense. When Trump was in office, we didn't have a war. We didn't have no Russia and Ukraine. China and Japan, he forced them to pay the money back that they stole under the Democratic leadership. Mm-hmm. Like you said, he gave the black colleges $500 million. The list goes on. The economy was good. Everybody was afraid of him because he had cojones as big as suitcases. He wasn't afraid. And so when you really take a look at how the country was going, the economics was going, jobs was everywhere, the country was really rolling when Trump was in office. But now, to those people who say that Trump is no good, the orange hair fool and all of that, look at what we got now. This is what I'm telling you. Look at what it is. 3 years ago, gas was $2 and some change. Now
it was $1.89.
There you go.
What it was in Georgia.
Well, it was about $2 and some change here. But folks, look at the common sense approach. Look at the gas now. It's going back up to about $7 or $8 a gallon. Okay, this is all under the Biden administration. These were the same people who was complaining and saying, Trump this, Trump that, we need to hate him. They tried to impeach him twice. All of those things would lead you to believe when they weren't able to do that, that it's some underlying things. Because what had to happen was, since Hillary lost, Trump started to expose the New World Order. He was telling people about draining the swamp, and the swamp consisted of the Bidens, the Clintons, the Obamas, the Soros, Black Lives Matter, Antifa. He was trying to tell us what was behind the hatred for him. But you know what? And I felt bad for him because they treated him like they treat black men, like the police treat black men, okay? And so now, to the American people and all y'all Democrats, all y'all soft Democrats, all y'all independents, and all y'all weak Republicans who went to the polls and voted for Joe Biden, how do you like him now? He forced people out of their jobs. He forced vaccinations and mandates down your throat. 10 million people lost their job, and now he's saying that the economy is good because those people can't get their job back because they didn't take the jab. To this very day, his administration is pushing a vaccination that has been untested. They're giving it to babies, and people still taking the shot. It's causing morbitis. And then
think about it this way. What just came out in The Hague over there, they're saying, oh, we really didn't test this. Oh, we really didn't tell people to do this. Oh, but our community, of all places through history, our faith is what's gotten us through. Swing low, sweet chariot. But you're going to close the church doors so people can't get to the altar call, to get people to get on their knees and actually worship at the altar of God. But you're going to open it up to worship at the altar of a jibbity jab. And you think I care what black pastors got to say when Joe Biden literally smacked them in the face and said, get used to it? And they all dropped their head. I wish I know
what. He told them to sit down and shut up.
pastor to come up to me and tell me I'm wrong. I know what God called me to do. And what you're doing right now is blasphemy against the Holy Spirit and the Heavenly Father. For every fake pastor out there that won't take your lead in your role, who are you actually worshiping? Is it the man on earth or is it the man in heaven? So before another black pastor or minister or bishop or prophet or anything else try to run up to me, I'm going to ask them first, did you shut your church? Did you shut your church? Did you shut your church? Because if you did, you need to shut your mouth. You need to shut your mouth. You need to shut your mouth.
And that's true, because where is your faith at?
Right.
See, this is what I'm talking about. When this thing started 3 years ago, that's all I was saying. I was saying to the pastors, I was saying, man, we need to address the homosexuality stuff. They told me, well, Pastor Dave, just sit down and relax. We're not going to worry about that. We worried about the violence in Chicago. But you know what? They wasn't worried about the violence in Chicago, because what you call Beetlejuice, Leviticus 20:13, we supposed to have a rally to get the brothers together. And instead, they gave Father Flager, who is under investigation for homosexual acts with young men right now. He's out of his parish. Y'all know who I'm talking about. He gave all sorts of other people opportunity, but nothing was set right for us because of this simple fact, because we don't have God first in this country no more.
No.
These pastors who walk around here who shut their doors, man, I don't even associate with them. As a matter of fact, when we did this thing on the 22nd, this honest God truth, and I'm gonna say this, two things that happened here shortly. When we did this march, May 22nd, and I went out to the streets and gathered all the black men that I could in Inglewood to stop the shooting. I went to the police department so that we could have this march, and we wanted to do everything in fine and decent order, right? And so the police department said, they would support us and so forth. But I had another pastor there from a church that was not even in Inglewood. As a matter of fact, he was one of the pastors over at Bishop Brazier Church. I know Brazier since we was kids, okay? And so this man told me, he said, Pastor Lowry, he said, man, how come you didn't call me? And I'm wondering, I just met you, so how would I call you? Man, he pulled me to the side. Man, you made us look bad. You done came into Inglewood and you didn't call us, and now you organizing the people and you helping people, giving them jobs and stopping the violence. You should have called us first, because we get the public safety money. This is true. We get the public safety money. And because of we getting that money, we haven't had a chance to get out there and meet with the boys. And so what we want to do with you is that if you allow us, we'll piggyback with you, and then we'll come in with you. But give us a chance to come in. I told that man, you better go to hell. You better get out of here.
You live
I don't
on
need to report to nobody.
You see all the ambulance ride up and down the road. You know, kids, mothers, fathers can't go out on their door front stoops and swoops to sit there without being scared they're gonna die on their. You live in that community. You getting money from the government. You getting money from the state. And what you mean? Somebody else need to tell you what's going on the same street you ride up and down on every single. Get out of our face. Eventually, God was telling you to do it. You let the almighty dollar dictate what God already told you to. So since a real man stepped up to the plate, did it without your permission, did it without your asking you or have anything, so you can't get no shine or take his position. Exactly. You mad. Stop playing. I can't stand them. I can't stand these people.
The reason why I'm giving you these examples is this, because the men of God, and I'm saying a lot of pastors have lost their way because they so worried about the 501c3 money. They so worried about the program money. But to the pastors here in the state of Illinois, what did J.B. Pritzker do for you? All your program money that you got, he shut that money down, which you supposed to have a couple of months ago, and he shut it down because he worried about y'all not voting for him. So what better way to get your kids under control is you put them on punishment, you take their allowance from them and tell them, go to your room. That's what he did to a lot of pastors.
Look at what we just said about the colleges. Look at what we said about the streets. Look at what we just said about the men. You can look at it and take it back to LBJ. What did he say? We're going to have them niggers vote in Democrat for 200 years. And then he also said, hey, women, hey, don't worry about those sperm donors. We're going to pay you more money than you could ever have if you go ahead and get rid of that man. And I promise you, we're going to take care of you. The only thing it did was destroy the black community, the white community, and the Hispanic community. But at least dang on the Hispanics, at least they can combine and join together. Black folks, it's like crabs in a bucket. Hispanic community, shoot, they got their Mexican restaurants on the white side of town. You ain't finna get nothing like that unless a black woman or black man want to go over there on Rodeo Drive and invest all their money, becoming entrepreneurs. Guess what? Our own kind ain't gonna shop with us without giving some kind of freebies, some handout or some hands up. So come on, I ain't lying to nobody out there. I always tell people on my show, you better prove me where I'm wrong, because I'm look, watch this. Wow. It don't rub off. It ain't going nowhere. So God gave us this backbone because we are in these communities. We see what's happening. We get attacked because we on the right side, not the left side. I ain't gonna be over there with the goats, okay? I'm gonna be with the sheep, with my Heavenly Father. It seemed like the black community used to be the most religious community that believe in the blood of Jesus Christ and Calvary, and now they can't stand to even hear his name. One place I can literally pinpoint you is the pastor of the most historical black church in America, that is Ebenezer Baptist Church, which is the home front for the MLK. So you sitting here and having a pastor right now whose name Warlock that's advocating for the slaughter of our own children, then I ain't got no respect for you. If anybody's ever been to Atlanta, you know that the MLK original church is across the street. Here's the center, there's the house. But then you come across this street, you have the big new church, but down the street you got Margaret Sanger and genocide, and on the other side of the street you have the inoculation center, while you have homeless encampments, and you can literally see the Gold Dome. So these black people in Atlanta, don't trip on me, because I hurt your dang old feelings, because you ain't did nothing for Techwood, you ain't did nothing for Buckhead, Bankhead, you ain't did nothing for Candler Road, you ain't did nothing for Decatur, you ain't did a damn thing for Fulton County, you ain't did nothing for Cascade. So I don't want to hear this crap when it comes to the black people in Georgia. The only thing you and fat ass Stacey Abrams want to do is continue to tear us down, and I'm sick of slaughtering our babies at the altar of Baal and being 12% to 13% of the population when we spend more money than any other ethnic group, and you hating on a person like myself and David because God woke us up. We scared to go to hell, but you're gonna bust it wide open and never bring it back.
And I'm so glad that you said that, because the biggest problem that I see in the black community is unity. And let me give you a little.
Why are we gonna UNITY? UNITY, that's for unity. Why I'm gonna unify with somebody that got double daggers behind their back getting ready to stab me when I walk away?
But see, that's the problem that we have. And at some point, we're going to have to try to pick the remnants of what's left in the black community and try to make some sense of it. That's why I said this yesterday. A divided house cannot stand.
Nope.
And let me say this, and I say it all the time. And I don't mean no detriment to anybody, but I have to say this. Our community is split up between those who are highly educated, moderately educated, and those who don't know nothing, and the street people. That's about 4 different categories. And so the elite people who went to college, who pledged to these fraternities and sororities, who got the corporate jobs that white America say, y'all go to school to get in debt, and then we're going to give y'all these jobs, and yet in reality, instead of thinking about entrepreneurship, you took those jobs and you got right back on the plantation in the mine. See, because when you separated yourself from your own people, when our kids were going to, so some of these kids, next Saturday, I'm 65 and I'm proud, okay? But when our kids went off to college in the black community, it was under attack by Joe Biden and the crime bill. Yep. And all the drugs and all the stuff that was in the community, our kids were getting killed. Parents were sending their kids to college, and they said, go, leave, don't come back home. That was a big mistake. Because of that, Our children went off to college. They got the debt. They moved out into the white communities. They created a society of their own called the Greeks. And they look at us as normal black people, that they're better than us. And they don't want to come back home because of fear. So now to my brothers and sisters who are educated, when COVID came, you got treated just like all the other N-words by your companies, and you didn't have no special privileges. So your job was taken, y'all lost y'all houses, y'all kids are under attack in the schools with the homosexual stuff. We had more college people wondering how they was gonna get to pay their bills because the plantation owner took the job and put it on hold. And so to our black brothers and sisters out there who don't want to be black, who want to call themselves Greeks, you got a taste of what it was like to be the slave that you are on the plantation, because when they took your job, what did you have? Your car didn't mean
investments. If you up there in the corporate industry and you didn't learn anything, that's your dumb self. If you in the corporate industry and you've raised it that far and you didn't stock down with 401k, you didn't get into an annuity, you didn't know what compound interest was, and you was just living from paycheck to paycheck and not taking this education and all this stuff and becoming an entrepreneur, you're still on the plantation. I don't care what Greek sorority you pledge to. I don't care what demonic society that you pledge to. But if you that book smart, but you ain't you stupid on common sense, it ain't your mama and them fault. It's yours.
It's called educated food.
These people that saying that they are higher than us because they made 6 digit, no, you stupider. Because if you still ain't done nothing with the education and what your forefathers actually taught you and your mom and dads and grandparents did to get you in school and instill that in you to make yourself entrepreneurs, ain't nobody fault but your own. And I'm sick of the black community always being victimized. The only equal scenario in all of this, in this equation, is your own self. And until your own self, thou be true, then you're going to always fall for a lie. When you understand that we are being placated, we're being rocked to a false sense of security, that we don't even know how to invest in ourselves, and we can only look at someone else, and then we hate the person that actually took the knowledge, the wherewithal, and the gumption to make something of their life, and they ain't got to depend on no one else, but you out there depending on somebody else. Don't hate on us, because we ain't living for you. We're not even, we just living to make sure that we leave a legacy that's greater than what we left behind. So all these, I don't care how many degrees you got on your back, on your wall, because you can be smart in books and be stupid on the streets. You can have book smarts like a mofo, but your common sense is out the window. So if you ain't got the Holy Spirit, common sense, and book smarts, you ain't nothing but a slave anyway.
Well, you know, that is so true. And one of the things that I want to say about my community is this: for the lack of knowledge, a people will perish. See, we refuse to acknowledge God. Like my mother's them, that's all they had. My grandmother and them, that's all they had was God and Christ in their life.
That's all I got. That's all
I got.
Behind me, it says faith over fear. Right behind me, this is what I stand for. The American flag, my spiritual belief, and the state of Georgia, because I told you so. And I'm not gonna be one of these people. I don't care if I'm black on the inside and cream in the middle. I'm not gonna hear get thee behind me, get to the left. I want to hear well done, my good and faithful servant. This has nothing for me, because this all, if you are born, you gonna die. I don't care if you took the jibbity jab. I don't care if you took a booster, and I don't care if you up the number shot 5. When God calls your number and the faith clips you, you're gonna have to take account for everything you did. You could go ahead and follow behind Joe Biden and say homosexuality. I'm gonna believe by the basic instructions before leaving earth. That's the Bible, baby.
That's right.
I don't want to hear nothing about it was written by the white man. Eventually, you didn't pick that book up either. I don't want to hear nothing to say that they done took books out of the Bible. God didn't ask you that. He asked the men and the women to witness in his name. He ain't gonna care about if you read the Bible or not. How did you live your life? Did you believe in his son, Jesus Christ? And then if anything else, then you know what? Go on to the left. We'll see you. I'm on the right. No, I'm not Lazarus. I don't care if you get a teardrop of water. You can burn to hell for eternity, because he gave you enough people. Just like the guy said, can you please go up there and let my brothers know how hell is. No, we good with that. We got enough people up here on this earth to tell you what's going on. You ain't got to come back from the dead, and we ain't got to go out there and prophesy with anybody. So everyone out there, you can read for yourself. He give you enough common sense. You know wrong from right, and if you don't, I'm gonna be on the right. It's gonna be on the left, and I'm gonna be between Gabriel and Archangel Michael, picking on you in hell for eternity. Trust me, and I'm gonna cook a pot of chitlins and have some hot sauce on the side.
Now, Steve, you quiet down there. You ain't saying nothing. But listen, this is what this is what really boggles my mind. Black people, like you say, we spend more money than everybody, and yet our community lacks. We have all of these great athletes, politicians, rich people, pastors. You would think that the billions of dollars that we garner, that our people, those basketball players and football players and all of these TD Jakes and all the rest of these people, you would think that if they love the Black community, instead of always begging for money, you would think that they would take their monies and reinvest into the Black community so that we can have our own schools and we can have our banks, all of these things, because the Black community can be self-sufficient.
I want to sing to you so bad right now. I just want to sing in your ear and just sweet sing something to you. What have they done for you lately? Nothing. I want to look at LeBron James where he can't even figure out what his own kid's about. Why do I want to look at these basketball players when their own household is toe up? I'm going to sweep around my own front door before I look at my eyes at some Hollywood people. This guy is owned by the CCP and trying to tell Black people how to live, and you ain't did much for the Black community. Y'all better go on with these superstars, millionaires, and billionaires and athletes and get your own. Stop being envious of the next man and worry about what you can do for your man.
But you know, it's the thing of, because of the oppression and the struggle that Black people have had, the athletes like Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, Abdul Jabbar, the list goes on of Black athletes, Jim Brown, who really came back into the Black community and did something positive. I can remember Muhammad Ali came right up there on 55th, and he had a hamburger joint up there. And as kids, we would go up there and see the champ, get his autographs, and talk to him. He was an everyday person. He invested into the Black community. That's why he was the people's champion. But our athletes today, they've gone in a different direction.
Well, those same people also warned us about the motherland. They also warned us about the traps and the pitfalls of falling into all of this megalomaniacs of millionaires and billionaires. You can look at Malcolm X as one example. His own homeboys killed him, but he was warning about us and warning about Democrats and lamestream media a long time ago. So if we have our forefathers, and we have leaders in the old school days, they used to tell us about the pitfalls and what they've seen at this monetary level and tried to witness to us. Most people what they did is ignored exactly what they said. But what do God tell you? If people are not willing to hear what you got to say it anyway, knock the dust off your feet and start moving to the next community or the next man and see what they see. So if the Black community don't want to hear from two Black people and Mr. Binky, they don't want to hear from them. What show? Oh, Mr. Binky was putting up books last night because my father always told me they could take your money, they could take your life, but they can't take your knowledge. So he was sitting here giving us example after example of books that would proffer and give success to everybody's community. So if they're not listening to me and you, David, then let them fall from the wayside. But they can't put pitfalls in front of us. We've been attacked. Our life been threatened. We've been through hell and back. But we still out here on the front line and telling the truth because we don't want to hear well done from some strangers. We want to hear well done from our Father. So we're doing this because no one pays us. We're doing this on our own dime. We are creating this on our own profit. So when people say we're sellouts, who's selling us? Who's even giving us anything? So we're doing this at the detriment to our lives. What David is saying right now will get him bamboozled and ostracized from the Black community because he wants the best for the Black community. When I start talking about the Black community, they call us sellouts, Uncle Tom, you know, Aunt Mammies and everything else. You could call me a Harriet Tubman because I could save a whole bunch of more nickels if they actually listen to what we got to say. But one thing my father and one thing I teach my 4 children, you don't bash the father. I never bash any of my kids' fathers. They all think they have a golden cape. And it's not for me to train my son. It was up to their fathers to do it. And that's one thing that I'm proud to say. And I said proud to say is that I never talk negative, no matter if me and my kids, I have 4 kids before I was the age of 20. So I am the worst scenario for the Democrats could ever do. I was raised in the hoods in the woods. I raised my kids in poverty and in the projects. I'm sitting here and I escaped. So I'm the worst woman and I'm the most hated female in America. And you're the most hated man because you're trying to give that olive branch. You're trying to lead people out of poverty. It's like we are Moses and I'm a Esther, but don't put us in that position because God will knock us down to a Job.
Now,
so we know exactly what we're doing.
Let me say this to the Black community. Over the years, and we can see with our own eyes that the Democratic Party has never been anything good for the Black community. Ever since that I can remember, every time, and I didn't quite understand, every time an election would come, you would see all these Democratic leaders come out. They want to come, they want to shake your hand, they want to talk about what they're going to do. And I want to tell the American people, none of these politicians during the midterm have talked about how they are going to fix this country. None of them. I'm sitting here in Illinois where the schools are failing our children. They're losing. The report card is so bad here in Illinois that our children reading science, math, they're in the low 20s. In other words, they're graduating in 85 and 90%. And the kids in here in Illinois, they can't even read. Some of them can't even barely write. They don't cursive writing. And so if they're failing in school, what are they learning? They're learning how to be homosexuals. They're learning how to be pedophiles. They're learning how to transgender. They're hating their parents. The school system is destroying our most precious asset, and that is our children. And if that is not enough to put a fire under you, if you're a parent and your child is going to these public schools and they're teaching the children to hate you or they want to change their agenda, they're teaching your children to say, I'm not a boy, but I'm just a kid. I'm fluid. They're teaching our young men to be girls. All of these things are done under the Democratic leadership. And that's what I'm trying to get Black people to see. Look at what has happened in the past, the lies, the good stories, what they say they were going to do. Go outside, people in Inglewood, and look at your community. 4 years,
project
under
that's still out there, some fits from the 50s. And the reason why I say there's projects, because they started lumping people in ethnic groups into different sections of projects. And those projects are still there. There's scientific evidence of not only, I know a lot of people, Illinois report card. I know there's a whole bunch of people right now that grew up in projects, but when they start seeing what the CIA did, when they start seeing what the experiments that was shifted on them, start talking about dirty water, when they start talking about dirty atmosphere, this stuff was a scientific experiment, how they've been doing ever since Tuskegee. Do we forget about Rosewood? Do we forget about Tulsa, Oklahoma? Do we forget about any of this? And then you want to hate on someone else. Stop. The Black communities need to stop being damn victims. We was made to be kings and queens. You call each other that anyway, to take your rightful place and honor the man upstairs.
Now listen to this, and Big, we're gonna have to get you to say something in it. Listen to this right now. Look at us. Look at the Black community itself. It is so tore up. Our communities, none of us own anything in the community. Everybody in the community is foreigners. The black dollar stays in the community less than 1 minute. And so we have a wealth, but we don't use it to better ourselves. And until we do that, until we finally say enough is enough, let's quit paying $400 for a pair of gym shoes. See, that's the kind of, that's what's happening in my community. Black people buying Jordans for $300 and $400 a pair. Okay, some of these gym shoes cost $2,000 and $3,000 a pair of gym shoes. Yeah. So that's the foolishness that I see, because as long as we don't value ourselves and we don't value our economics, that's why everybody want to come to our community. That's why
Shepherd, I want to stop this because you got people that is responding to your page. Miss Shepherd, you're not a damn coon, okay? You're not an Uncle Tom. You're not a cracker lover or whatever else, you know, the black community want to call another black woman. Ma'am, you're not that. You're a child of God. The only person that have the right to call you a coon is a coon them dang on selves. The person that calls you an Uncle Tom out of your name, they look in the mirror every morning and recognize that in themselves. You are a child of God that was blessed by the Most High. You need to walk up straight and keep your head straight. Don't worry about somebody that looks just like you. And I know you black, Miss Shepherd, because you stay on my page. I don't care if they call you a coon. Wipe your shoulders off. You know, shoulders, pants, knees, shoes. Wipe yourself off and you keep marching forward and save the people that God gave you to save. You talk to those people. Don't talk to the ones that's going to be falling to the wayside. Don't worry about the ones that's going to always be in poverty. Don't worry about the crabs in that bucket. You go ahead and put a lid on it, sit on it, and keep on riding out, Miss Shepherd, because there's many women like you that's out there on the forefront. There's many people out there like you that praise for our whole community. There's many people out there like you that go have bookmobiles, that go to the projects, that go into these churches and try to reach the community. Stop worrying about what these other fools have to say. FOOLS, and worry about what God has to say about you. And as long as God is opening up your eyes every morning, you say thank you, and you get up out that bed and you make the best of what he gave you that day. Don't worry about someone that looks just like you. They don't have a hell to put you under or a heaven to place you in. They can kiss your naturally black ass.
You know what? And I love that you said that, because I'm trying to jog the memory of black people. And the president we got right now, he hated black people.
Yes.
When he wrote the crime bill, and I'm saying this means black folks, listen to what I'm telling you right now closely. In the 90s, there was a senator from Delaware named Joe Biden who got on the TV screen. He said he didn't want niggas going to school with his kids. He said we were animals. He said that he was not going into the future without creating some kind of laws to deal with these animals. In the 90s came after all the drugs, the crack, the guns, and everything was flooded in the black community. The black preachers sold the boys out because they didn't want to help them. And then they got with Joe Biden across the country and they created the crime bill.
And then you got to own our own community, whooping and hollering for a woman that nickname is Knee Pass, that suppressed DNA, that in camp and in prison more black people, and she don't even know what color she is. And you got all these women of color just doing the whoop whoop doo. I'm sitting here like, you better shut the heck up. You have no idea about Kamala Harris. She ain't black. She don't know what color she is, because when she was sworn in into Senate, she was the first Indian ever. So how in the world are you allowing a woman to come in, swoop in, not only steal your men, because honey, trust me, she slept with a whole bunch of people to get to the top. How in the world are you going to allow her to come into your own community, snatch your identity, snatch your man up, and incarcerate your children? Tell me how that work.
Well, she belongs to a black sorority and she's not black. But she used the sororities and the fraternities across this country to help get into office. And
you got all these black women talking about whoop whoop Kamala. I call her camel toe. Okay, I call her camel toe. I probably call her knee pads if I met her in person.
But you know what? Reason why I'm saying this is because Joe Biden put more black men in jail than the law allowed, and he was proud of it. He was like, "Yeah, damn well, I wrote the crime bill." And
look what he did to Clarence Thomas. Look what he did to Marshall, Thurgood Marshall. People forgetting the way he talked to them. Even Clarence Thomas did a video, and this guy was scared for his life. He said, I know I've gotten death threats, but I'm willing to die to make sure I get that seat. I'm not giving my position up because I've had death threats. And he was looking at Joe Biden and Dick Durbin and the rest of the Democrats. But you're going to sit there and call Clarence Thomas out of his name, Uncle Tom, Uncle Joe, or anything like that, and then you're gonna let that skate? And then now when you got a woman up there as the first black woman up there, they're gonna say she's the first black period, and this heifer don't even know what a woman is. I'm sitting here like, that is not my role model. My role model is Jesus Christ, not that lady. How in the world are you going to be the first black woman to get up there and then you're going to say you don't know what a woman is? What in the heck did your mother do during Jim Crow that got her in the back of the bus for you to say you don't even know what a woman is, and you're going to disrespect the black community? F the Democratic platform.
And that's what I'm trying to get black folks to understand. We cannot continue to put ourselves in a situation with the Democrats. If you really look at the first part of Democrat, is D-E-M-O, demons. That's what that really is. Because under the Democratic leadership, they've thrown God out. Under the Democratic leadership, they've continued to destroy the black family. Under the Democratic leadership, they've continued to push homosexuality out front. Under the Democratic leadership came Black Lives Matter, who got trillions of dollars off black people and never helped them.
What? Let's go ahead and pause that, because they keep saying that Black Lives Matter is the new Black Panthers of the 70s or the 60s. No, seriously. Democrats.
Queers.
No, the Democrats are literally calling the Black Lives Matter the new Black Panthers of the 60s, late 60s and early 70s.
That's
when
all behind Barack Obama.
Matter, I see a bunch of feminazis that hate the black race, that hate black men and the men, period. So Black Lives Matter, you can get under my feet, because that's what God told me to put you, is to put you under my feet, Satan, because Black Lives Matter don't care nothing about black people.
And if they did, wouldn't they took some of that money, that $90 million or $1 billion, and start reinvesting it to the black community?
They did. The woman got 4 houses in a gated community and threw a cookout. What they talking about? They paid the puppet and the puppet masters exactly what they were. How in the world, listen to this, if you got all this money being funneled through ActBlue, through Black Lives Matter, from Nike, Reeboks, all over the world, as they guilt tripping them from slavery, you hate the black people and slavery matters. So, all the white guilt pushed all this money into ActBlue, who dispersed it to all of the Democratic operatives. And then you got the key feminazis that hate men, literally buying $1 million mansions, buying compounds and everything, as they're paying their own ex-husbands, baby daddies, and mamas.
Yep, exactly.
Tell me why the IRS didn't knock through their door.
Oh, they are knocking at their door now, and that is a problem. But folks, I just have to say these things, because we going to the polls. Look at our situation. Remember, Joe said you ain't black if you don't vote for Joe. Look at all the disrespect that he has done. He told Al Sharpton and them in the black leadership, sit down and shut up.
Yeah, I ain't black, y'all. You know what? I'm caramel. I am paper sack brown.
But I'm saying it because black people, we have to wake up and smell the coffee, because as long as the Democrats are in position and power, like they got right now, they got the House, they got the Senate, they got the
White House.
And what is being done?
Super majority. People see, this is why I can't stand people that don't know anything about politics. I can't stand.
What are they doing for black people now that they got the super majority?
Not a damn thing. They've been washing their hair to Ukraine and trying to start World War III.
And you know what? All the money that's going, look to the American people, the patriots. Look how bad our country is. Look how bad our economy is. And they sending money to the Ukraine.
That our economy is okay. Joe Biden literally just say it's Paquita. Okay, it's spiking. I just read an article tonight on my show that Joe Biden said that the American economy is as strong as it's ever been.
I don't know what economy he looking at.
Sniffing a child's neck for pedophilia.
And you know what? That's why I'm trying to wake the black community up. Look at us and look at what they're doing. The Democrats have never done anything for us. And now here it is, midterms. If we don't go to the polls and we don't get the current administration out.
Don't tell black people to go to the polls. They're going to think they're going to go into a strip club. Tell them to get out there and vote. Now, I don't need to see ass in the air. Just say go to the voting booth. You don't think
We
they
need
talking
to go to
about?
the voting booth for sure.
Yeah, because they made a
We can do
whole
this.
Democratic commercial called "Twerk to the Polls." Hey, just twerk to the polls. So we don't want no more twerking to the polls. Can you please tell them to walk fully
Folks,
clothed to the
please,
voting
fully
booth?
close to the
vote.
voting booths
Okay,
and
that's
vote
fine.
the Democrats out of office. We
They
cannot
said
stand.
twerk to the poll. Oh my God, they literally
And
said.
to the people here in Illinois, we already know what J.B. Pritzker has done to this state.
I don't even live in Illinois, and I know what.
He made this state a satanic state. It's a homosexual state, just like the city of Chicago is being turned into a homosexual city, like San Francisco, like Atlanta. All of these cities where homosexuals have taken over.
Can I ask you a question, David? I know this is off topic, and I'm about to probably get a dump button for Mr. Binky. Steve, seriously, Mr. David, are we the new Sodom and Gomorrah?
Yes,
Because you can't go to a Muslim country. They don't recognize homosexuality. They don't recognize 167 genders. And when I look at Sodom and Gomorrah in the Bible, and I look at Sarah, and I look at a lot, and you know what happened with the angels that came in the community. Are they turning? Maybe that's the reason why that America isn't in Revelations. It's not in the Bible. Do you think our nation is being turned into the new Sodom and Gomorrah? And sooner or later, God is going to have a natural disaster. It's not going to change us into salt, but it's going to change the fabric and the landscape of America the way it is.
Yes. Let me say this. America has become the new Sodom and Gomorrah. And what they did in the days of Sodom and Gomorrah, when the angels came and they wanted to rape them, what they did, and God set that whole town on fire and burnt them out, is the same thing the Sodomites are doing now in the public schools and in our society.
It's not fair. It's not fair.
They're attacking our children. They've attacked our children in the schools. Look at, they don't even show a man and a woman, especially a black man and a woman, dark-skinned, as a family structure no more. They're not talking about the black family structure. We're being bombarded with psychological warfare to make us think homosexuality is normal. God has already spoke. When he put the monkeypox out, you don't hear nothing else about it because it's only affecting gays. They want to change the name of it, thinking it's going to change the outcome. But let me say this to you, those who are gay. Just remember this. God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah because of their sexual predators. You're doing it now in the public schools for our children. Don't you think it's the same God that was then that destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah? It's the same God now. And as you put yourself out here and you push yourself on people and you do what you're doing to the children in the schools in our life, don't you know that the same God that wake you up in the morning time is going to put you to sleep? This country is going to be burnt to the ground.
The way David feels, he has every right. I don't want to see another Ryan. If anybody remember what happened when homosexuality really started coming to the forefront, I don't want to see another person hung up on a barbed wire. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because people, that's what that happened. I don't want to see a flag of everyone that died from monkeypox or AIDS floating across the United States because you want to be accepted so bad. And I don't want to be made felt like a bully or felt like that I'm beneath you because I don't accept what you believe in, because I don't live that way. And that's either we have to accept it or we are banished from society. Like when I have gay people or anyone homosexual walk up to me and be like, I'm gay. Number one, I heard it from your lisp. Number two, I heard it from the swag of your hips. And number three, it's not dang on contagious. I'm not going to catch it. So you ain't got nothing to do with me, but I shake your hand and pray for you anyway. But it's just making it feel like it's all or nothing. We got to accept it, even if we don't believe in it. We got to understand it, even though we don't care. And we got to put it. I'm not finna keep doing LGBTQ, black, yellow, white. Look, I'm over that. Because now you've been trying to get out of the woodworks for so long, and you are attacking and trying to get our children. That is what's going to get y'all hurt again. That is what's going to get y'all banished back to the nether regions again. You're going after children, and that's not right. No one, any well-bred parent is not finna accept your indoctrination, and we don't give two craps who you scissor leg with in the bed. It ain't gonna rub off on our children, so stop exposing our children to this. And this this gender reassignment crap, I am truly believing when God say we are living in the end days and live every day as he's going to crack the sky, he will. For anybody to ask me and any pastor out there, I know what my calling is. I will smack you with the Holy Scripture. Don't come after me unless you're ready to take the bull by the horns, because I ain't got no filter and I'll hurt your feelings. And I don't care how long you've been under the cloth of God. I'm going to be by his right side. So I don't play with man's law. I play with God's law. Amen. And I'm living under it. So before any pastor, bishop, or TDJs, get ready. You want to come after me? You better get ready with both hands are blazing, because I ain't finna play with you. I have 9 grandchildren, 2 daughters that hadn't got started having children yet. I am already in the archives of history. I'm already in the Congress, the Library of Congress. You can't delete me. You ain't gonna never delete me or David. God has given not only him the burden to put his word out there, because the people that he put in position to actually do this, they lost their way. So now that the people that God actually put on that mantle and that pedestal to get his truth out there, since they're not doing it anymore, he's bringing none unknown people to bring it to them, because we know what the reverence is. We know what the Father say, and we know who the Holy Spirit condemns us and convict our spirit. So we're not living for any of you people out there that's looking at us right now. We don't care about what you say. We don't care about your opinion. We care about hearing, well done, my good and faithful servant. We have to take account for everything that come out our mouth. We don't care about your feelings. So it's facts over feelings with me, Dave, and Mr. Binky. And if you ain't willing to pick up a book that Mr. Steve is putting out there, if you're not willing to pick up the ABCs of gays, if you're not willing to learn what Frederick Douglass is, if you don't know who Uncle Tom truly is, if you don't know who Harriet Tubman is, if you don't know what Margaret Sanger is, if you don't know who Stalin is, if you don't know anything we selling, maybe you need to shut up. Open up a book. My dad always said they can always put truth in a book, because no black person is going to open it up and read it before you come after people like us.
Man, you know what? The time on the clock on the wall. Bink, you need to say your last words so we can get out of here. That hour gone by. I'm going to have to come on your show. You got 2 hours. Bink, what's your last words? This is too good. We got to come back again and do it some more. Bink?
I ain't got nothing to say.
Mr. Steve, you know, on Jerry Springer show, every time Steve come out of the background, everybody be like, Steve. So now every time it's like, hey, Steve.
Well,
Binky.
We gotta go, man. The time on the wall. I want to thank folks for listening. Folks, really, this is serious to us. This is serious because we're under attack. The American people are under attack. Steve, your last words, and we're going to get out of here.
Oh, I guess from a very wise man, America can be defined in one word. I forgot.
Well, brother, you'll be here tomorrow, and we'll remember some things. We got a great show. We'll see you there.
I want to come back. Look, I see a lot of people. We got Miss Shepherd, who's a leader in her community. We got Miss Carmen over there, that's a leader in her community. We got Miss Nancy Martin over there. We have also Deborah Miller. You're looking at women and men that are pillars in the community. And they are looking at us right now for guidance. They're looking for a backbone, and they're looking for substance. So
all of y'all people that's watching the show.
Exactly. Don't think what you're doing because you have the eyeballs. People respect you. They want to get more to know you more. And they want a place where they're going to get truth.
Because I want to say this. I'm a new pastor. And what I see out of the pastors today, I feel just like you feel, Ms. Hughes. I don't understand it. I'm not going to go down with it. It is about Christ. It's about God for me and doing the right thing. So tomorrow you can be back and we'll get together. I want to come on your show.
want to be a pastor because I drink and cuss. I'm just saying.
Okay,
Pastor
Judah.
told me the closer I get to God, when I turn back and look at that salt pit, then I'm really going to crumble. And I don't want to be placed in a position where I have that heavy burden for somebody else's sin. I don't want to do that. I just want to be Lucretia Hughes Kluken, that cuss a little bit, but she means the best, and she only wishes the best for everybody from every walk of life. So I always tell people, please don't place me on a pedestal, because when you do, Jesus will knock me down. And I don't want to hear that. I want to hear, well done, my good and faithful servant.
So tomorrow you'll be back, right?
Yes.
We'll back tomorrow. Well, look, we're going to get it. I got to get you out here because I know that, folks, we'll be back tomorrow with that. Now, Ms. Hughes, I want to thank folks for listening. We got to get out of here. I want to really thank TECN Television, the Exceptionally Conservative Network. Folks, I want you to go there and start watching us live stream from the channel. There's a lot of things that this channel can do. This whole station has taken us in, and we're going to make it a station that we can give information out. These are my last words. First, let me thank the Living and Driving While Black Foundation for their sponsorships. I want to thank Two Diamond CBD. And I want to say this, and I'm out of here. To the American people and patriots across this country, we can already see the situation that we're in. The American people are resilient. We have been through a lot. We've been through world wars. We have fought other countries for our freedoms and so forth. How are we going to let our own government take our freedoms away? How can we sit back and watch this administration, the Joe Biden administration, and the Democratic Party, who have lied to all of us? They've connived, they've done things, they said that they were things they wasn't going to do, they did. How are we, the American people? How much longer can we trust these people with our lives and our livelihoods? It's been 3 years of a pandemic that was never really supposed to happen. But these rogue politicians and the CDC and all the rest of these Dr. Fauci's they started to destroy this country. How is it that the American people can continue to sleep? How is it that, especially Black people, our communities are war zones? We're living in the old days times of nothingness. How can we continue to vote for a party who hates us? They hate God, they hate our children, they hate Black existence. So how can Black people continue down this road? I'm saying it's time to wake up. For the lack of knowledge, a people will perish. And that's what's happening to the Black community. We're down from 12% to probably 9 or 10%. The Black family structure is gone. But we can come back. We can make a difference. We just have to unite ourselves, put God first, get back to the old time religion, the way we raised our kids, get these homosexuals out of our schools, start teaching our kids that God is not wrong when he made you a boy. He's not wrong when he made you a girl. He is in control of everything. Let us get back to that. Let us get back to God. Let us build our communities. Let us all be Americans. Because if one fall, we all fall. God bless you. Y'all tune in tomorrow, Monday through Fridays right here, TECNTV.com. Catch us on Facebook Live. Catch us on YouTube. But catch us. Come in and watch, learn, and listen, and research, and feed your brain. For I'd rather for you to hurt me with the truth than comfort me with lies. God bless you, and peace.